In this video I'll be demonstrating how to install a timer. I'm going to be using the CBI Astute Timer. You can use this for your pool, your boiler, geyser, or even garden lights. Alright, safety first, I'm going to drop the main breaker of this distribution board. This is the overcurrent circuit breaker for these circuit breakers, so as long as this is down, none of these will get power. If possible, try to disconnect or switch off the main in-feed coming into your distribution board. Now I'm going to open the distribution board. Now please be very careful, the wires coming into this breaker, this one on the left, there are two wires. On your distribution board you might find that the wires are much thicker. Maybe your distribution board is the main distribution board of your house. In this distribution board we have another board feeding this board, and that is why these wires are much thinner, because the upstream circuit breaker is only 20 amps. Now what I want to show you is that I have put my meter there on that circuit breaker, and notice that there is still a voltage there, 239 volts. So even though this is down, there is still a shock hazard on this part of the distribution board. Please be very careful. If possible, try to go and switch off any in-feed to this board. If you cannot, just be careful when you are working around this part. In fact, you don't need to do anything here, so just steer clear of this part of the distribution board. Now, in order to install one of these timers, we will need a circuit breaker that feeds the timer. So you'll need to choose a circuit breaker that's suitable for your load. For example, I'm going to be using this 10 amp circuit breaker. This is sufficient for a small pool pump. It is also sufficient for lights. Of course, you can use a slightly bigger circuit breaker, but this depends on what it is you are feeding. Now, in this example, I'll be using this 10 amp circuit breaker. In order to get this circuit breaker to feed your timer, it needs to have the live voltage coming in at the top. Now, in South Africa, we come in with the live at the top and the load leaves at the bottom. Yes, in other countries, they do it differently. You might find that they have the live coming in at the bottom and the load goes out at the top. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to comply with the South African standard, which means the supply live is coming in at the top, here at the top rail for these circuit breakers. Now, you might not see it, but there is actually a bus bar linking these circuit breakers. So there at the top, there is a bus bar. That's what it looks like. It's just in this white cover, and it is linking all these 4 circuit breakers together. So if you are going to be adding your pool timer, you will need to have a free circuit breaker, or at least a circuit breaker that can feed your timer, that you can allocate to this circuit. Alright, so I'm just showing you how to work with a circuit breaker. There's a little tab at the back. It might be already in the depressed mode. You can just put it on the rail and press, and it locks in place. If it didn't lock in place properly, just make sure this tab is pulled down. Add it to the rail. I'm just pressing with my hand at the bottom here. I'm just pressing with my finger, and I press this up, and now the circuit breaker has locked in place. Right, so in this case, I just need to get power to this circuit breaker. This is the circuit breaker that is going to feed my timer. So I'm going to use this bus bar. So I'm going to insert the bus bar, and notice that it is joined to the other circuit breakers in the row. And where does it get the power from? It gets it from this wire, and note that that wire is the wire coming from the main circuit breaker, and there the in-feed goes through the circuit breaker to this wire. Of course, in your case, you might have a much thicker wire at the top, but in my case, this is just a small distribution board with a lower power rating. So the supply voltage is going to go there onto this top rail. So when you add your extra circuit breaker, please use a bus bar. Now, yes, some people will just use a jumper. If you are going to use a jumper, make sure the wire thickness can handle the rating of the circuit breaker. So this is a 10 amp circuit breaker, and this wire here can handle 20 amps. If, for example, the board was quite full and the bus bar was already at its maximum, then yes, you could add a jumper like this. And never add a jumper to another jumper. Although for best practices, please use a bus bar. I'm now going to insert the timer. Now notice that the timer has this black plastic around it. Now this depends on the size of the cover of your distribution board. Notice that for this one, I've removed the black cover and it can fit through. This one, which still has the black cover, cannot fit through, which means I have to remove the black cover in order to get it to fit through the cover here. What I do is I just take my nails and I gently just separate it, then I flip it, and I make sure to hold that open, and I take my nails and I do the same. Now I can just slide that off. At the back here, I just press this a little bit down. I slot it into the rail, and now at the bottom here, I press upwards, pressing on this yellow tab to lock it in place on the rail. It is now locked in place. I now need to wire the circuit breaker to the timer. I'm just going to loosen these screws, And I'm going to start with the live wire. So the top of the circuit breaker already has live. Remember, it's coming from this top rail. And now we're going to go to the output of the circuit breaker, which is the load side. So I'm going from the output of the circuit breaker to the input here, the live at the top of the timer. All right, I've taken a wire and I have formed it into this shape. And the reason for that is I'm going to go from the output of the circuit breaker to the input here, the live of the timer. Now you might be wondering, why did I make it so wide? The reason being is that I want to be able to have the scope to add another timer if I want. In future, if I want to add another timer, then the wire that I've just put here is not in the way. So I make sure that I wire it towards the edges, also giving me the opportunity to add circuit breakers and expand if I want. I've opened the screw for the circuit breaker and I've tightened the wire inside there. The wire is then going to the live terminal of the CBI timer. Make sure that when you insert the wire into the circuit breaker or the timer, it goes in there. It must not be in the top. There I'm on top of the clamp. That is incorrect. I must be underneath where the clamp can now squeeze the wire. Now the amount of wire to remove is only about 1 centimeter, 10 millimeters. Preferably use wire strippers because they do not nick the copper. Please be very careful if you are using side cutters to strip your cables, because what often happens is the copper gets nicked. So for example, this is wrong. I've nicked the copper and then look what happens. A couple of bends and there it comes right off. If you are going to be using side cutters, don't cut through the jacket. What I do is almost like I squeeze the jacket and I pull rather than cut. So I've now pulled and I have not nicked it because I did not tighten the side cutters onto the copper. But for best results, use the wire stripper because it leaves a hole there and it does not nick the copper. Notice the wire goes in there, but the protective covering does not go in there. So I never tighten onto the jacket, I only tighten onto the copper. So from the output of the circuit breaker, we go to the live input of the timer, which is there at the top. Now, what size wire should you use is dependent on the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker is 10 amps, so I'm fine with using a 1.5 millimeter wire. If you have a 20 amp circuit breaker here, you will need to use a thicker wire. I will quickly show you a guide for the wire size thickness. Now the timer needs to feed the load. The load is going to come out there. What is the load? In my case, it's going to be the pool pump. So what I'm going to do is I've got the load wire for my pool pump. This is the wire that is fed to the circuit for the pool pump. So how do I know? Well, I know that this is going to the pool pump. This is the live wire. The neutral wire has already been wired to the neutral rail of the distribution board. The earth is wired to the earth rail of the same board. So all I need to do now is take the live for the pool pump and then connect it to the output of my CBI Astute Timer. So I'm going to go over here. Right, so there is my pool pump wire. So I'm going output of circuit breaker into live of timer, and then the output, which is the load wire, goes to my load, which is my pool pump. Now I need to connect one more wire, and that is the neutral, because the timer also needs power to work. Of course, it's an electronic circuit, so it needs a neutral wire to take a little bit of energy to operate the electronic circuit and the relay. So I need to connect a neutral wire from the end terminal over there. In this case, all the neutral wires are sitting here. If you're not sure which is the neutral, you can always look at the output of your main breaker, and there is the black wire, and it is going all the way to the top here. In a bigger distribution board, you'll find your neutral wire looks like this. That's coming from the main breaker. So I just need to go from there to there. Right, so the timer has actually been wired now. So if I lift this up, the timer should go on. So be very careful here, because remember that is still live at the top there. Right, this is up now and this is up. Please be very careful. The board is now energized. I want to quickly check if the output of my circuit breaker here has power. So I'm going to put my positive lead there, and I'm going to put the other lead on the neutral rail. Notice it is 237 volts. If I drop the circuit breaker, nothing. So I'm going to lift the circuit breaker up again, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly measure at the timer, and you should see the 230 odd volts. And there we go. So the timer is now energized and it's ready to be configured. Now you can also check the status of your timer by looking at the front of the unit, and you'll see there is a little red LED telling me that the unit is energized. At this point you should return the cover, and you should not work while the cover is open. But for this video I am going to just work with the cover open, just for demonstration purposes. Now you'll just need to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and get your CBI Home app. You'll need to install it and register. Once you've registered, you can say plus to add a device. It says add device. Allow the permissions. It's asking you the type of device. You will need to connect the app to your Wi-Fi, and in future you'll be able to do this using Bluetooth. You now need to press and hold the power button for a few seconds. The light will go off and now you can switch it on. You'll notice the red LED is now flashing red and blue, red and blue. It's ready for pairing. Take the phone. I confirm it is blinking. It's now going to scan for the device. The timer was added successfully. I say done. I can now quickly name it. In my case, it's going to be used for the pool. I say done. And I've successfully paired the Astute Timer to my app on my phone. If I operate the power button here, I can actually hear the relay inside here switching on and off. Right, to quickly demonstrate it for you, I have my black lead connected to the neutral rail, and I have my positive here on the output of the timer. Notice that there is no voltage here, it is off. If I touch this button on the front, notice the voltage is there, 237 volts, and I can press this to manually turn it off. But of course, the point of the Astute is that you can control it from your phone, and notice there I've switched it on, and there I can switch it off. Of course, you can now set your timing profiles. Locate the device you want to set a program for. In this case, I'm using a timer for my pool pump. I'm going to quickly give it a better name. Right, so I want to configure a timing sequence for the pool pump. I tap on pool pump. I go to the bottom, it says timer. I tap on that, it says add. I can now set the on time that I want the pool pump to turn on. I'm going to say 9 o'clock. Then it's asking me if I want to repeat the timer. In this case, yes, I do. So I want it to be active every single day. Of course, you can set any variation. Maybe you don't want it on the weekend, or maybe you do. Now I just say back. Now it's asking me if I want to have a notification. A notification means that when the timer switches on the pool pump, it'll send your phone a push notification. You can also add a unique note there. In my case, it's not necessary. So I want the notification on. And then it's asking me if I want to have a switch on or off. In this case, I want the timer to be switched on, so I leave it on. Now I say save. So what this is going to do is every day the timer will turn on, but notice it's not going to turn off. So I have to set a corresponding off timer. I want it to run for 3 hours, so I'm just going to say switch off at 12 o'clock, and then I'm going to say every single day. It must correspond to the on timer, otherwise it will stay on overnight. And then it's asking me switch, I say off, done. Now I say save. So now I have a on and an off. Notice the pool pump will come on every day at 9 a.m. and it will go off every day at 12 p.m. So you can add additional timers should you wish. Now I have my timers set, an on time and an off time. Now I can say back, and automatically tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. the CBI Astute Timer will activate the pool pump to turn on. I just want to demonstrate the function of the circuit breaker in this circuit. Notice that the timer is currently on. It's giving me the voltage. This is going to my load, which is my pool pump. And notice the circuit breaker is in the on position. If there is a fault at the pool pump or even in the timer, the circuit breaker should trip and it will disconnect the power to the timer and to the pool pump. So that is the reason why we have to have the circuit breaker before the timer, to protect not only the pool pump but to also protect if there is a fault in the timer. Of course, if I switch this back on, then I will have to manually turn on the timer. Last step, just switch off everything and to go around and check that everything is tight. And of course, you will need to do your labeling. Alright, thanks for watching and cheers.